We're back up at the top now. This is the second last final before we go to the finals of the dash events. We're looking at event number 49, the women's senior double. We have lane 2, Arion, lane 3, Arion, lane 4, Arion, lane 5, Winnipeg, lane 6, Western, and lane 7, Argentina. So half of this final taken up by one club. There's one coach who's responsible for 6 athletes in this event, followed by, 2 Canadian crews and an international crew from Argentina.
Of course, that Arion program out of Saratoga looking to kind of become a developmental hub for American rowing. I believe what they look for in their application, it is, I believe, an application program that you come in and they look for post-collegiate athletes who are showing potential and willingness, trying to get to that next level, get from the university, the NCAA level of competition up to that senior international standard. And we'll see, obviously, they've done something quite well, having 3 crews out of 6 crews proceeding into the final here in the senior women's double that's about 100 meters into its final.
It stands for the Advanced Rowing Initiative of the Northeast. So an acronym as well as just kind of it's got a pronunciation on the website, but I can't hear it right now.
You are a little bit plugged in here, and we also, of course, have Winnipeg with Michelle Truax in stroke seat. She won the senior women's single earlier this week, I believe, and of course the Argentinians, perennial contenders, and we've already seen them do very well today. And we'll see what they can do.
For sure. Michelle Truax and Rhiannon Borkhurst also winning the senior women's pair, I believe. And lane 6, not to be counted out, you've got Shannon Kennedy and Grace Hutton. Grace is a younger athlete. She's only 18. Shannon, of course, my roommate for the week. Go Shannon. Shannon picking up the sport only 3 years ago, coming to us from track and field.
And of course, their coach, Mark Henry, he works for Fluid Design. He knows the sport. He's been on the national team as a lightweight athlete. He's competed at the under-23 level. He's competed at the senior level. He knows the sport. He knows racing. Certainly, he knows doubles and sculling very well. He was an excellent sculler when he was competing. And so he will have grilled these ladies, coached them. They are going to know the standard of racing, but right now it does seem to be lane 4 as we're crossing the first 500-meter mark. That is the top-seeded crew from Arion out of Saratoga, their high development program. The rest of the field, really not much to give. The second Arion crew, a little bit back off of Winnipeg, Western, and Argentina, and then the closest Arion crew. But really, really not much to give. Those crews that are battling out for second, third, and fourth, we'll see what they can do over the middle 1,000 meters as all of these crews transition out of their start speed into their body of the race. It's really this middle 1,000 where you're going to see the rhythm come into the play, come into the race. It's going to be this rhythm, whether it is too aggressive, not aggressive enough. That is where a lot of the races are decided. We haven't seen too many lead changes in the final strokes of any of the races so far in finals here at Henley. A lot of it has been decided through the race, through the body of the race. The middle 1,000 is where many of the finals have been won.
So lane 4, Arion by far the fastest winning time. They won their heat by a whopping 13 seconds. They've got Savannah Davison. Looks like she rode for Washington State. Christina Wagner Christie, she rode for the U.S. under-23 national team from Boston, also rode for Yale. So high pedigree of both of those athletes. Last year's winner was Argentina. So I'm certain those ladies out in the far lane, the women are pushing towards perhaps a two-peat. The trophy they're racing for is the Coopers and Lybrand Trophy. Coopers and Lybrand was a worldwide accounting, auditing, and consulting company. It was formed in 1957 by the merger of a British accounting firm known as Cooper Brothers and an American accounting company known as Lybrand Ross Brothers and Montgomery. In 1998, Coopers and Lybrand merged with Price Waterhouse. And you can see there the lane 4 Arion crew just ahead of what looks to be Shannon and Grace from Western Rowing Club, and then it's 3 boats across. That's incredible.
Yeah, really tight racing so far over the first 1,000 meters of this senior women's double race.
Pretty exciting stuff for the crew in lane 6 from Western Rowing Club. That's Shannon and Grace, coached by Mark Henry. For two athletes who've really only been rowing a handful of years, they've picked it up 2 or 3 years in, and it's exciting to see. I know I've met Grace's parents, and they're fantastic supporters of Grace as she pursues this and many other sports, I'm sure, for the rest of her high school year next year.
That's excellent. We'll see if they can try and close the gap between them and Savannah Davison and Christy Wagner out of Arion in lane 4, who have commanded this race so far. Of course, all of this production would not be possible without all of the sponsors here at Canadian Henley. We do have a number of sponsors, so if you're here on the island, you can pick up a draw. There's a lot of notes about the sponsors throughout the draw. A lot of them are down on the island. They have vendor booths. If you're at the grandstands, of course, you'll see flowers that are provided by one of our new partners, Bloomex. You're going to see lots of signs down at the grandstands for, of course, the St. Catharines, the city of St. Catharines, and other. We have a number of sponsors that really this regatta would not happen without them. So we, of course, want to give a thank you to all the sponsors that help make the Royal Canadian Henley possible.
I'm sure Coach Eric Catalano is having an absolute, he's having a good afternoon here as he watches his athletes. They look so calm.
Wow.
There's absolutely, there's no sense of urgency really in that top lane 4 Arion double. Of course, Grace and Shannon looking very strong. It's hard to imagine that these are two athletes who are still refining and really, learning the ins and outs of racing. They're doing a fantastic job in second place there.
Yeah, as they come down, you wouldn't have guessed that they are so new to the sport, given how well they've separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Of course, that lane 4 Arion has jumped out to a, probably at this point, fairly insurmountable lead, barring, of course, some sort of disaster. But Grace and Shannon doing an excellent job. Yeah, I'm impressed. Kudos to them, and of course to their coach Mark Henry for getting them into that good of condition, into that, like, you say that they're so new to the sport, and you cannot tell from looking at this shot, they are rowing very clean.
Yeah, hard to imagine. Grace Hutton celebrating prom, and then looking forward to perhaps, now making the final of the senior women's double.
That is excellent. Well done. But it does seem like it is going to be Arion, Savannah Davison, and Christy Wagner out of Saratoga in lane 4. Gonna be their race. They're coming into the red buoys, and just a really cleanly rowed race. As you were saying, no panic, no pressure, just clean rowing, and they've dominated this race from the start.
Eric Catalano, he's the head coach and the executive director of the Saratoga Rowing Association in Saratoga, New York. So congratulations to that coach.
Yeah, and just taking it up, not leaving anything to chance, putting a strong finish on as they come to the line.
That's some fantastic sculling there from the women from Saratoga.
Really well done. And just a nice, calm celebration. Shoulder pat, smiles. Well done to those ladies.
Unofficially, winners of the senior women's double, lane 4, Arion, in a time of 7:30.29.